Welcome to the IVM Podcast Network.
The Paodcast is an IVM production, and if you enjoyed this podcast, we suggest you try The Seen and the Unseen. Hosted by journalist Amit Verma, the show discusses and dissects a specific public policy every week. Check it out.
You're listening to the Paodcast, presented by the Daily Pao.
This is Pranoti.
And Amit.
And we're from the dailypao.com, a Bombay-specific food and culture website. And this is our weekly podcast, The Paodcast. Now, this episode of the podcast is an installment of The Scene, in which we talk about culture in the city. And we have with us Pranav Ashar, who is the founder of Enlighten Film Society. So stay tuned for The Scene.
Are you confused about your future education options?
Not sure about whether you should be doing an MBA?
Or if design school is the right fit for you?
Are you worried about how you would finance your education?
Find answers to this and a lot more education-related topics on this podcast.
Hi, my name is Akhil Daswani. I'm the CEO and co-founder of OnCourse.
Hi, my name is Alisha Mashruwala. I'm the CEO and co-founder of OnCourse.
And we both are your co-hosts for the OnCourse podcast. Tune in every Monday on the IVM Podcast app or any other podcast app you may like.
The Scene.
So on this episode, we have with us Pranav Ashar, who is the founder of Enlighten Film Society. Thanks for being on the show, Pranav.
Hi, how are you all?
So Enlighten Film Society, I'm guessing a lot of film enthusiasts will be familiar with this. You started Enlighten in 2007.
No,
Is that
2007
correct?
when you were 17 years old.
Yes, it's 18,
18
right?
years
I'm sorry.
old, okay. Anyway, and I remember that it was basically the only place that you could go and watch world cinema classics on the big screen at that time.
Yes, so the idea was, there were many film societies, at that point of time, who were screening these films, but those were not reaching out to people. Those were not very, very popular, you may say. They were traditional film societies who used to screen really old classics, and they were not bringing in the current cinema at that point of time. Mm-hmm. We thought that it was a great idea to take these films into theatres. So right now it might sound like,
it's not very radical in today's
it's not
times,
very radical, but at that point of time, we remember we were like a few friends of mine. We had this idea, and we went and did a meeting with Cinemax. At that point of time, it was Cinemax, which PVR later bought.
The PVR in Andheri.
Yes. So we had a meeting, and in the first meeting itself, they said, "Let's do this." Okay. And that's how it all started.
But I wanted to ask you, things have changed considerably since 2007 and 2017. How does a company like yours run when most people are watching these kind of films on their computers, pirating them, or legally accessing them somehow?
So I would honestly admit that there have been challenges over the past few years, but also that we have grown with them. It's not like we are far away sitting with a certain form in our head or a certain kind of cinema that we want to promote. That is not our agenda. Our agenda has always been to kind of give people uplifting experiences, which is almost what everybody really wants. So we've realized that there are most of these films which we were screening in theatres now have a better window to view, which is your computer. It's actually a better experience for a few films when you are personally sitting alone in a dark room watching it on your own. So we have realized that, and in terms of form, we have evolved that if we want to do regular screenings, we have a couple of theatres here in Mumbai. We do our screenings in Delhi, Calcutta, other places, but that has not remained the way it was earlier. it has become kind of an on-ground experience of what we do, of various smaller activities or various different activities that we do otherwise.
Yeah.
So can you just sort of explain that a little bit? For example, have you reduced the number of screenings?
So see, we can stay very technical and talk about screenings and world cinema, but as I said, what we did was we really went back. We saw what the trending videos were in 2007 on YouTube and Vimeo and what they are now. Earlier, what people used to really look out for was the external kind of films and what the world is doing, and because it was just new. The video on internet had just opened up at that point of time. We talk about it in this fashion, but YouTube is only like two years before us. It was started in 2005, so it's not like it's been a really long time. So we did look at them, and what we realized is that people are going towards more local content. Even the people, like we did a lot of screenings in Dadar and some screenings in Sion, and we realized that these people want to move into regional content. They want to watch films which talk their language also, not specifically world cinema which connects, or films or stories which connect with them. So that is where we are moving now. We are not sticking with the form or space or time, but the essence of what people really are looking for. Why did they come to us? They came to us so that we could give them an uplifting experience each time they came for our screening. So now we are moving towards a lot more kind of what you may call cultural content. We are doing an entire series on the monks in Himalayas, and we are doing a completely new series on the Eastern religions of the world, and we are getting quite a lot of traction for those kind of content which we are planning and giving out, because we as a company has looked outward for a long time, and now we are trying to see how we can provide the people what they want really from within.
So where are these happening, at the moment?
See, currently everything, the newer path which we may call is like moving from external to the internal in terms of content, to look at the eastern side of the world for content has just started. The process has just started, and we have acquired quite a lot of content, and there will be some announcement in the coming
now, is this
1.5
your
months.
VR stuff?
Not VR necessarily. It will be both, with VR as well as for video. I'll just give you an example. What we're doing with VR is we are doing these shows where we have these sets and people can come and watch the VR films. But we are taking, say for example, a Hussain painting. We're taking up a Hussain painting and asking people to enter the world of a Hussain painting while they are taking that VR experience. The VR experience is about the Hussain painting, where you enter into it. If I say right now, you might not really exactly get what I'm trying to say, but when you actually experience it, it is something else. So we could have really done it with a Mona Lisa or the usual suspects really, but why we want to go into Gaitonde or a Hussain is because we understand that now it's not about, people don't really want to go international in terms of gaining cultural context. The cultural context has become extremely true to people's own nature.
Right. So, but when you talk about, entering a Hussain painting, do you mean, wearing that
Yes,
VR?
wearing the VR glass, and the entire painting, the entire surrounding will be of the, you will be in a Hussain painting.
Right, so that's what you're creating, the film
That's
that
what
you're
you're creating.
Okay.
It's an experience. We don't
And
call
so,
it a film,
so it's an experience. Typically how long are these things?
These are 4 to 5 minutes.
Okay.
These are 4
and
to 5
minutes. And
minutes.
with a voiceover and things?
We don't really put the voiceover in the paintings, but yes, we have done a series with the guides across India, where we worked with local guides and we have taken their voices because they have these amazing stories which they have developed, which are like a confluence of myth and reality, because they have been working in this field for such a long time. They have to make up stories each time, because everybody who travels comes after reading the Wikipedia page and go being aware about everything in terms of what the knowledge of the space is. But these people come with a newer perspective. a lighter perspective. We could have we could have taken some social issue and done it, but we wanted to really see where the joy is in the local people, in their stories, and that's what we wanted to do.
These are guides to particular specific places, like
for example, we did the entire Rajasthan series, where we did 10 cities in Rajasthan, where we worked closely with the government of Rajasthan to get various places from
And
Rajasthan.
how do people access this? Do they have to come to the... I mean, you have an office at the Bombay Art Society. That's where Enlighten VR is.
We do have regular screenings there, where we show films and simultaneously we do VR experiences, because the VR experiences are smaller in length, so people don't really travel for 5 minutes. Earlier they used to, when it was
brand new.
It was brand new. Also, it's available on mobiles, and you can download it and you can see it. So yeah.
Right.
So you want to tell us a little bit about your experience with Matadin, because Matadin, when it opened about 3 years ago, right? They used to do regular world cinema screenings
Still, it's very regular.
I mean, in the sense it used to be during the week.
Now we have shifted to weekends, Saturday,
Sunday morning usually.
Sunday afternoon and Saturday evenings. So that's what we currently do. And the reason
was that challenging? I mean, I thought it was great that there was a cinema that would
that you could
regularly
just
screen
go
classic films.
and go in the evening and watch a classic,
See, we realized that many people told us that, weekday evening is not like weekdays evening is not happening, and there are very few people who are there, etc. We wanted a community building kind of an event, etc. So we thought, why not try out Saturday and Sunday prime time? Saturdays evening and Sunday afternoon are prime times, and they are the times when people really go to cinemas to watch the film, and we have a better turnout there. Actually, we have net more people coming in during those 2 shows as compared to 7 shows which we had in the evening, because there's more excitement. People can schedule properly.
So
it's more of a logistical decision, and there's no like what do you say, like a financial kind of a...
But you also have your documentary film festival that you're doing right now, right?
Yes.
Which is also on a Sunday afternoon. I'm thinking that's nap time.
Okay, that's perspective, but
So do you have a lot of people coming for your documentary film festivals?
See, the Bombay Art Society as a venue has just started very recently, and it's still growing, and we have a decent number, but it'll only grow from here. So I cannot say that we are completely running a full house there, but it's
because I mean, this is interesting, because this is actually documentaries that some of them which have never been screened before, like unlike say some of the movies which are obviously classics, and you have other ways to get access to them, and some of these documentaries are being shown for the first time.
The idea is that Matadin being a bigger and larger screen, the idea is to screen films which are known, popular, and people can come to. Whereas at the Bombay Art Society, what we try to do is we try to show films which people might have not heard about, or people might not like Seymour, which is a film by Ethan Hawke, which was very big at Sundance last year, or Camera Person, which is one of my favorite films, which played at the Mumbai Documentary Festival. These are films which are which we really want to bring to the audiences, which are very, very, you can say, not known but beautiful.
Right.
And they need to be seen. So, and they don't have an audience, so we kind of bring it to the audiences which really crave for it.
Well, can you talk about the programming at Matadin now?
Mostly classic. It's
cinema.
99% classic.
It's 99% classic. Like, you show a lot of films from the golden period of Hollywood. So I mean, does this reflect your own cinema watching preferences? I mean, what kind of movies do you like to watch?
Yeah, if you ask me that what films do I watch, I actually watch all kind of films. So it's a very, very difficult and a vast question to answer for me.
But is the programming like a direct reflection of what you like?
Not really. It's a direct reflection of what is there in the popular minds of what you call the elite Mumbai society.
And they want to watch the
Classic
older stuff.
Hollywood films.
Yes, because most of them know about it, if I talk to them about contemporary world cinema, it's only a handful of people who go to these film festivals might know about it. But the audiences who are in and around that area and who have heard from people are the great classics what people hear about, and these are the films they want to go out and watch on a Sunday afternoon, or spend their time watching on a Sunday evening. Whereas more edgy stuff, more you can call it cooler stuff, happens at the Bombay Art Society.
Yeah.
Right.
And is it different in other cities? I mean, since you could have also screened elsewhere.
See, if you screen contemporary cinema for a longer period of time, because see, the classics have gained a life of itself after a long period of time with a lot of word of mouth, and it has a lot of goodwill. Whereas a contemporary film which has just come out has not had that word of mouth, has not had that life or the time to gain that life.
Yeah.
And therefore, more or less everywhere, it is the known films which
and are you
do
looking
well.
at, are you talking about a specific demographic, like an age group, or?
Not really.
Okay, it's across the board.
across
Because
the
the
board.
film, I mean, even when it comes to the film festival audience, it's very broad based. I mean, you see a fair range of people there.
Yeah.
Well, how do you see VR developing? I mean, currently when we talk about VR in the city, I mean, there's you and there's Anand Gandhi. So how do you see VR growing? And do you see like a real audience for VR?
See, VR is always going to be a personal experience, mixed reality, virtual reality, augmented reality. I'm mixing all these three into one. And there was this spike which people saw in VR, AR and MR activity which happened for 3 to 6 months. Now what will happen is that everybody realized that it was a real spike. It's so now let's not think that another such spike will come and there'll be hype around it, etc. Now things will come so organically into the system. It will take some time, but it will come so organically that you wouldn't even feel that it has entered the realm, because media forms, if they change very rapidly, they won't seep in. I'm quite sure about it.
And you basically, the kind of stuff you do is much shorter.
Yes, currently much shorter.
Yeah. And that's, I mean...
And can anyone just come and access it at the Bombay Art Society? How does that work?
Yes, anyone can come and access Bombay Art Society. We give out the times in advance when we are open for that.
And what about the other stuff you were talking about, sort of looking east, that kind of stuff? When are you planning to roll out some of those
So that is going to be one of our big announcements, which is coming in a month or two at the max, and
those are going to be film screenings.
Those are not going to be film screenings. That's going to be a completely. Let me talk a little bit about it, like in a sequence where I realized that world cinema, the same form, 2-hour format, etc. Everything is changing. That is not remaining constant. The 1-hour format on Netflix, 20 minutes on HBO. You watch like small clips on your mobile phone, etc. People are consuming all these kind of things which were not being consumed when I really started out in 2007. So if I want to be absolutely new, absolutely modern, I have to look at the way the consumption is happening. And therefore, if even today, if you open up, just people don't do that, but even if you today open up YouTube trending section in various parts of India, you will find that it is local content which is being grappled up left, right and center. It's not Bollywood, it's not sports, it's really, really local content. And most of the Indian local content, because of the culture we are in, is seeped in spirituality, religion, Eastern practices, etc., etc. And it's very rich. It's very. I was quite taken aback when I had this moment of realization.
So typically, what kind of a video would that be?
So as I talked about earlier, it would be like. I don't know, just to give you a reference, if you have seen the series of Chef's Table on Netflix,
Right.
But we don't have anything. I'm not saying that we are going to do exactly the same, but that kind of a template where all forms are completely opened up and torn apart. It's very cinematic, but a television model in an internet space.
Right.
Now, do you think you don't have a word for it. And that is the space we want to enter now.
Okay.
Because in order to stay new and relevant, we'll have to look at what we ourselves are constantly doing and not do what we like. You know, we have to do what is necessary. So that is the most important thing.
So this is all original content that you're producing.
Lot of it is original content which we are doing, and a lot of it is also acquired.
So that's it for this episode. Thanks, Pranav, for being on the show, and we'll be back next week.
Thank you.
For more on what's happening in this city, read thedailypao.com. Also subscribe to our newsletter on the website. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We're The Daily Pao. You can find new episodes of the Paodcast every Monday on the IVM Podcast app or any other podcasting app that you prefer, and on thedailypao.com.
एक्सक्यूज मी भैया, एक्सक्यूज मी,
बोलिए मैडम।
मेन्यू में क्या है?
मेन्यू में सीन अनसीन है, पॉडकास्ट है, ऑन कोर्स है, साइरस है, मेड इन इंडिया, रीडिस्कवरी प्रोजेक्ट, एम्पावरिंग सीरीज, सेक्स वैक्स है, IVM लाइक्स है, सिंप्लीफाइड है, कीपिंग इट क्वियर है, टिंग्स एंड डेस्टिनेशंस है, माय नेबर सकरबर्ग है और द फन गराज है। आपको क्या चाहिए?
एक बार रिपीट कर देंगे क्या?
रिपीट नहीं करता हम। आप जाओ IVMpodcast.com पे और सुनो ये सब, या फिर डाउनलोड करो उनका ऐप, सब आपकी उंगलियों पे।